Hey friends, how are you? I wanted to come and I'm not gonna be looking at the camera because I need to pick up my son from soccer, but I wanted to give you this when it's kind of hard to get ready super out of time because of course I needed to get all the information, do the research, and as you guys know, the trial, well, as you guys may or may not know, the trial went on until like, 5:36. So, and I didn't want to make you guys wait forever. Power, money, and sex. That's what the prosecution said were the motivators in this case. I happen to be in agreement. Hi, everybody. I'm Pastor and Coach Gene McIntyre, former practicing attorney, and also a proud mother, believer, pastor, and life and executive coach. My book is My Life and I Cry If I Want To will come back. It's coming out soon, but in the meantime, let's talk about Lori Vallow, the trial, day 6. I'm including the playlist of all the videos that I've done. I intend to follow this case very closely. It strikes a chord because I'm a mother. I'm deeply committed to my children, as most mothers are, and it's hard to wrap your mind around somebody that will do to their children what Lori Vallow is charged doing to them. Today, day 6, the biggest surprise of all was that the closing arguments between the prosecution and the defense only took 1 hour or close to 1 hour. I mean, normally in a case as complex as this, you expect the opening arguments to be a lot longer, particularly for the state, because you need to understand the defense in a criminal case doesn't have to prove anything other than that there's reasonable doubt. The people that have to put forth the evidence and to demonstrate that there is guilt is the state. And in a case like Lori Vallow's, you would think with them having over 3 years to get ready that they would have like a structure of the case of what they're planning. So listen, this can go either way. It could be that the prosecution is holding back and doesn't want to show all their cards right away. It could also be that they are very disorganized. Prosecutor David Woods, I don't know if his first name is David, but Woods, apologized several times today, seemed a little like he wasn't completely ready. Like, I get it, like Lori Vallow was like incompetent to stand trial, then she got better, then she went back. Still, like, it's kind of like when I'm managing one of my businesses and I tell people, like, be audit ready every day. Like, don't wait until the audit for them to get ready. No, be audit ready every day, right? And so I don't understand why they waited until the very last minute, but this is exactly why the death penalty is no longer on the table. The death penalty is no longer on the table because the prosecution did not give the defense all the audio of Shad's phone calls and other discovery material. And so the mitigation expert, which is the person that at the end, if there is if there's a death penalty case, the mitigation expert is the person that says, well, these are the things that mitigate, the crime. And what she said is, I don't have time with the trial starting. When it's starting, if this is a death penalty case, I don't have the time to go over every shred of evidence that has been turned into the defense very last minute. And so it's just troublesome, and this is why I pause a little bit with the prosecution. And I'm not 100%, like, I would like to be able to say, oh, the prosecution is just like hiding their cards, and I still believe that they're going to be able to get her convicted. I really, really do believe that, but I do believe there will be hiccups, and they've demonstrated that they're not very proactive, and and so all that said, again, power, money, sex. And let me tell you why I agree with that characterization. Power. As a pastor, I can tell you that one of the biggest temptations for men and women that do ministry, because my husband, who is now with God, And I experienced that over and over again in several churches where we attended, is people that are pastors and that rather than having an attitude of serving others, have an attitude that they are in a position of authority and reputation, and they just want to be important. And my husband and I, we, like every church that we attended or that we served before we planted our church and became pastors of our church here in Bradenton, Florida, we would purposely choose to clean the sanctuary, scrub the bathrooms as volunteers, to eliminate any first and foremost to serve God, but also to eliminate the possibility of any thought that we wanted to take over or whatever. And I cannot tell you, but we heard from several pastors, we heard things like, this is my church, not your church. Like, we were like, wow, we never, like, I remember one pastor told my husband, let's make something very clear. I'm the pastor of this church. My husband was wearing shorts. So trust me, we knew who the pastor of the church was. So it's sad. And I think that Lori Vallow was seduced by this whole idea of, I'm one of the 144,000, which, by the way, that has a completely different interpretation in the Bible. It's very symbolic, and anybody that tries to interpret that literally is wrong. So she got seduced by that. Like, not only am I part of the 144,000, but I am the leader. I am powerful. I have lived with this prophet before, and like honestly, she was seduced by that. And a lot of ministers are seduced that way, and God help all of us in ministry. And I probably shouldn't make a direct comparison, because to be quite honest with you, that's a stretch. What Chad Daybell was doing was not ministry, it was a cult. He was making up a lot of things. The Bible calls that idle notions. And he was making a lot of idle notions, a lot of stories, when I hear Melanie Gibbs, which is Lori Vallow's best friend back then, everything is like an emotion. Oh, because we felt this and we felt this, and we had no reason to feel. Careful. God never intended for us to have a worship relationship with him that was devoid of emotion, but he also never intended for emotions to drive our relationship with him. We are supposed to walk by faith. Faith is what should drive us. The word of God is what should drive us. And I think whenever people go that route, where it's all about emotions and what I'm feeling, and there's one person receiving all the visions, like they had this group of ladies, like the vision ladies, I don't know what their name was, the spiritual ladies, whatever, that were the ones that had the dreams and the visions. Like, come on, people, come on. You know, when I stand in front of our congregation and I tell them, this is what God says, you know how I know God said it? Because it's in his word. And I can open the Bible and I can tell them, read for yourselves. Don't take my word for it. Just a lot of, so Lori Vallow was seduced by power. Oh, I'm powerful. Money. Let's make no mistake about it. Every time somebody died, Tammy Daybell, Tylee Ryan, and eventually JJ Jackson, I will tell you, there was a life insurance policy, and they were able to collect Tammy's life insurance and Tylee. And also, I think, Social Security checks that the babies, Tylee and JJ, were supposed to get from Charles Vallow, since he was also murdered by them. And Lori was furious. It wasn't until after she killed Charles Vallow, had him killed by her brother, Alex Cox. It wasn't until then that she realized that he had changed the insurance policy beneficiary to Kay Woodcox. And I think that's one of the reasons they were trying so hard to keep her off the trial. Because, I mean, let's face it, whether Kay Wilcox is at the trial or not, there's like no way that that's going to affect the trial one way or the other, that's going to affect whether Lori can defend herself or not. It has nothing to do with that. And I think that their attempt to throw Kay out of the courtroom was pure vengeance, because I think Lori is still reeling from the fact that she did not get that life insurance. But she got the life insurance for Tylee. She got the life insurance from Tammy Daybell. And so, yeah, make no mistake about it. Power, she wanted the power. Money, she wanted the money. And then sex. And I could not agree more with the prosecution. These people wanted to be together. They were both married. And they had happy marriages. And then they met each other and they had the hots for one another. And they're like, let's just get rid of these people. And so I find it very, very interesting that the people that went dark in their zombie thing that Chad Daybell developed, the people that went dark were the people that were some sort of obstacle for them to carry things through. For example, Brandon Woodrow, who was the second witness today. The first witness was Kay and the second was Brandon. He was an obstacle for Lori's favorite niece, Melody Woodrow, to move with her to Idaho, which was the center of this rapture that was going to happen. And they tried to kill him. He went dark. They tried to kill him. The two babies didn't allow Lori to have the freedom that she wanted to be the queen of the 144,000 and sleep with Chad Daybell. So they went dark. Tammy Daybell, a perfectly healthy woman. Alex Cox tried to kill her. That did not work. It is perceived that Lori Vallow said he can do anything right, as in Alex did not get it done. But the second attempt today came out. The autopsy confirms that she died of asphyxiation. Somebody killed her. We can allege who, but she got asphyxiated. Guess who else got asphyxiated? Little JJ Jackson. Little JJ. So guys, I mean, this is evil. And they wanted anybody that stood in their way, starting with Lori's husband, then Tammy Daybell, then the babies. You know, I mean, it's unbelievable. But it happened, and it should tell us that God help us all. And of course the defense is going to claim something about her faith and her beliefs, but God help us, because the Bible says that we should adjust to the established authorities because they have been established by God. There needs to be law and order, and I don't care what my faith says. I don't get to violate the law. I don't get to violate the law. And just imagine for a minute that people could do whatever they wanted in the name of religious, sincerely held beliefs. Yeah, we have a constitutional right to our sincerely held beliefs. I exercise that. Everybody should be able to exercise. But you know what? Your right stops where mine starts. And when the exercise of my right impedes on someone's ability to stay alive, that's where religious freedom should stop. I'm sorry, but we should not get to abuse that freedom by killing people and by violating the law. It simply is not okay. Got to my destination. And so all this to say, guys, oh no, I think I need a light. All this to say that I believe the prosecution was right on when it classified the motivators as power, money, and sex. I believe that the defense was like super short. You are going, you, if there's reasonable doubt, you cannot convict her. Well, there's not reasonable doubt. There's plenty of evidence. As I said, this is why I could not be a juror in that trial, because I'm completely biased. But I think I have very right to be biased. We all have a right to be biased. You know, the Lori's thing is that she wasn't there when the kids were murdered at the apartment. How does she know when the kids were murdered? Did she know it was happening? Because the kids had gone dark and her brother Alex Cox was her executioner? How did she know the kids were being murdered in the apartment? And why, if she knew the kids had been murdered, why, if she knew that, when the kids were being where everybody was asking, where are the kids, where are the kids, why did she hide it? Why didn't she come clean? The other side, puppy, the other side. I'm recording a video. My son wants to drive, but I'm trying to explain to him that I'm recording a video. Sorry, baby, I'm recording a video. I'm almost done. That's why I'm driving. Well, I guess I can finish it here and then I can let you drive. So at any rate, to make a long story short, the defense is that she wasn't there when the kids were killed, and she wasn't there when Tammy was killed. So she's throwing Alex Cox, her brother, under the bus, and she's throwing her current husband, her fifth husband, Shade Bell, under the bus. I wasn't there, but hold on. I was buying my wedding rings in Amazon like 2 weeks before the woman got killed. So I knew something was going to happen to her. And when my brother Alex failed, then my husband had to do it. My darling husband to be. And while her kids were had already been not only murdered, but dismembered and burned and laid dead in her fifth husband's pet cemetery, while all that was happening, guys, she was getting married in Hawaii with her little pose, and he was playing the ukulele. They had just murdered all these people. That's evil. That is evil. I don't care which religion you practice. I'm all for everybody practice whatever belief they want to practice. God is all for it. He gave us all free will. But man, my right stops when I start infringing in your right. My freedom stops where I start infringing in your freedom. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This was day 6 of the Lori Vallow trial. And I will continue reporting tomorrow. Wanted to come to you and give you this information. I'll talk to you later. JC, want to say hi?
Hi, guys. What's this about?
This is my live coverage of the Lori Vallow trial. And JC, tell them what you were just doing.
I was just playing soccer.
For 2 hours. He's my boy. Love you guys. See you soon. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow. I come tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.